Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm David Knight. It's Thursday, June the 13th, 2013, and here are our top stories.
Tonight on the InfoWars Nightly News. What a surprise. The State Department hired agents with criminal records. And the Supreme Court strikes down patents on human genes. And Gigi Arnetta interviews Mike Freeman, Weld County Commissioner of Northern Colorado, who talks about forming their own state. All this and more on tonight's InfoWars Nightly News.
Well, we know recently there was a court case in Connecticut where a police officer sued because he was not being hired because his IQ was too high. They were looking for people that had a more average IQ, around 100, and his IQ was 125. We also know that TSA agents have been caught in numerous criminal activity. And we even had the famous ad in Craigslist out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, that's encouraged applicants to, quote, be part of an imperious security team, protecting airports and skies as you proudly establish your future. Sieg Heil. Well, it turns out now that the State Department has been hiring criminals in large numbers, as a matter of fact. In a New York Post article, it says the State Department is hiring an alarming number of law enforcement agents with criminal or checkered backgrounds. The memo said hiring practices for DS agents and IMers, the department intakes of new officers since the hiring surge a decade ago have reportedly been flawed, with mitigation of troubling histories, including criminal matters. Too many people entering the diplomatic security and information management communities end up as subjects of Special Investigation Division investigations and HR adjudications and become giglio impaired and can play only limited roles thereafter. Now, to say that somebody is giglio impaired is kind of bureaucracy speak, refers back to a Supreme Court decision involving a person by the name of Giglio. And in that case, they had jury notification had to be made that witnesses had made deals with the government to induce testimony. In other words, they were kind of cooking the books. And that's the situation we've got at the State Department. Can it be? I mean, can the State Department be filled with criminals? The same people that did Benghazi?
Muhammad is Allah's messenger, and the Quran is our constitution.
Again, we were misled that there were supposedly protests, and then something sprang out of that, an assault sprang out of that. And that was easily ascertained that was not the fact. And the American people could have known that within days, and they didn't know that.
With all due respect, the fact is we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make? It is our job to figure out what happened and do everything we can to prevent it from ever happening again, Senator. Now,
we shall loot the goods, the cannons, any animals, and anything else of value.
Were they denied requests for help during the attack?
Well, we are finding out exactly what happened. I can tell you, as I've said over the last couple of months since this happened, that the minute I found out what was going on, I gave 3 very clear directives. Number 1, make sure that we are securing our personnel and doing whatever we need to. Number 2, we're going to investigate exactly what happened to make sure it doesn't happen again. Number 3, find out who did this so we can bring them to justice.
What God is this that is such an oppressor and so unfair to the people?
And last quick question I have for you, Congresswoman, because you have been an ambassador, you have been overseas in similar with similar responsibilities and similar missions. Who gives such an order to stand down? Where does that come from?
The President of the United States.
And that is what we saw play out in the last 2 weeks. There's a crude and disgusting video sparked outrage throughout the Muslim world. Now, I have made it clear that the United States government had nothing to do with this video. And I believe its message must be rejected by all who respect our common humanity. It is an insult not only to Muslims, but to America as well.
And let me be very clear here. It's very rare for a group of rioters to gather in hours of darkness. It kind of prevents the whole idea of seeing the protest. So that was right off the bat peculiar. And yeah, these feeds are being seen globally. Everybody who has a top secret SCI feed, this is the highest level of system, well, can dial into this. And when an attack is ongoing, Alex, everybody tunes in. In this case, a DoD drone was loaned to CIA, put under CIA control, and from that point on, and I estimate probably about 10 o'clock, everything was being seen in real time. So everybody here, and keep in mind that 10 o'clock there is about sometime in the about 8 hours later here. So we're talking about essentially all of this happening during the beginning of and throughout the process of a business day.
Would a highly decorated career diplomat have told you or Washington had there been a demonstration outside his facility that day?
Yes, sir, he would have.
Did he mention one word about a protest or a demonstration?
No, sir, he did not.
First of all, let's be clear about what transpired here. What happened this week in Cairo, in Benghazi, was a direct result of a heinous and offensive video that was widely disseminated that the U.S. government had nothing to do with.
What was your reaction to that?
I was stunned. My jaw dropped.
So Ambassador Rice directly contradicts the evidence on the ground in Libya. She directly contradicts the president of Libya. She directly contradicts the last statement uttered by Ambassador Stevens.
One of the reasons we had our own people on the ground and why we were looking to try to figure out how to better protect Benghazi and how to have understandings with those in the annex is because it's a host country responsibility, but they were not in a position to do what we would expect from an organized country.
Marina!
Daddy, what's going on?
There is an angry mob in the street. Tell your mother to release all the patients and close the clinic. We must go home now.
Okay, Daddy.
Freeze! Do not take any action until everything is over.
Well, recently there was quite a bit of discussion about Angelina Jolie's double mastectomy because she had seen indicators that she might be genetically predisposed to have breast cancer. Now, part of the controversy of that was the fact that that test was a very expensive test, over $3,000. And it wasn't just that the test was patented. The company actually patented the human gene that they had identified as being the gene they believe is an indicator for breast cancer. Now, in a striking Supreme Court decision today, that was thrown out. Wired magazine reports the Supreme Court strikes down patents on human genes. The patents the justices unanimously invalidated gave Myriad Genetics, the defendants in the case, a virtual monopoly on predictive testing for breast and ovarian cancer, according to the suit. Women who feared that they might be at increased risk were barred from having anyone look at their BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes or interpret them except for the patent holder, which charged about $3,000 per test or more. The complex decision means that Myriad may patent its tests, but others are not forbidden from performing their own non-infringing tests of the genes at issue or of patenting their own tests. Patents for exclusive genetic testing have also been issued for a host of genes, including those related to cystic fibrosis, heart arrhythmias, and hemochromatosis. Now, the interesting thing about that is that what they struck down was the idea that they could patent something that they had not created. An amazing amount of clarity of thought and honesty from the Supreme Court, something that we certainly didn't see in the Monsanto decision, which essentially allowed Monsanto to trespass genetically, so to speak, on other people's strains of corn, because that's what's going to happen with that Supreme Court decision. It's already happened in other countries and eventually wound up with the banning of Monsanto and its GMO products from those other countries. So we'll see how those decisions turn out. But a rational decision for once from the Supreme Court.
The important thing about the Pro 1 filter today is that the material we use for removing fluoride and other heavy metals now will remove the latest form of fluoride called hydrofluorosilicic acid. There's no other fluoride reduction filter out there that will remove that type of fluoride. And it's extremely important because today we're hearing more and more cities are using that form of fluoride.
We've been having medication forced on us through the water system for quite a while. Most people don't realize it. Most people don't realize the negative effects of fluoride.
There's a wide range of health effects that are attributed to fluoride.
Bottom line, why should somebody get this new Pro One ProPure filter?
The reason to buy the Pro One, it's an all-in-one filter. It's convenient, easy to use. It doesn't require the add-on fluoride filter, and in addition, this filter removes the latest form of fluoride called hydrofluorosilicic acid.